right. Crack the back before we get going here. Get these retweets out. It's a good behind the scenes look. Good reason for people to be here right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You got to get in right when we get going. That's why you should follow us in Twitter.
All right.
And the DSG Facebook page for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're about to go live here in 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to another edition of the Change My Mind podcast, part of the hashtag Dorkshire Gooniverse, along with Geeks Worldwide Radio, and of course, Midnight.fm. This podcast could eat a peach for hours. It also goes by Roger, but two Rogers don't make a right, Nick. I am Wesley Sexton. Through the other side of the ether is the caster Troy. To my camera, Poe, Mr. Nick Fryer.
Wes, this is, you know what? I brought this episode on myself. As much as you took the idea that I suggested and twisted it a little bit, this is going to be, I can't believe we're debating this today. And people are going to assume right away too, because this is like the fact that one of us is taking a side in this conversation. They're going to assume that I have the bad take in this when it's not the case at all.
Right, and this is that's a big market tease because I don't think we even have given out our title, what we're discussing. We're going back to the debate podiums, ladies and gentlemen, for a Change My Mind old-fashioned debate club. The master debaters of the Dorkshire Gooniverse have returned in full force, and we're coming with a rather simple topic. It's just Nick Cage. Is he good or not? You know, this has shades of maybe Pop Culture Pile Driver podcast debating Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but I think we're going to do this with much more veracity, with much more intelligence, with a tad bit of sexiness that they may lack. So I'm ready to do this with a full steam of head. That doesn't sound right.
Wow. Well,
I'm sexy on the mind, you know?
Yeah, of course. It's bad enough that I have to share a co-host with Billy D. And actually, now I'm not too keen on sharing one with Goo for that matter, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But I don't need to. We don't need to compare what we're doing to their Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Speaking of full steam of head, or however you want to put it, what they did with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We're not doing that with Nicolas Cage. Well, one of us maybe, kind of, but
and two very different actors. I mean, Nick Cage, perhaps the actor of our generation, perhaps.
Sure, Wes. Sure, whatever you say. I just, what's funny is we're debating Nick Cage. In like, I can see the logic where somebody would kind of like him, but having just this like out of nowhere like orgy or whatever over Joseph Gordon-Levitt just randomly makes no fucking sense at all. And at least ours is like inspired by a movie that just came out too.
Yeah, and it's been he's a hot button guy. He's a real polarizing guy. Is he good? Is he not? Do you love him for overacting, or do you see it as just overacting and chewing up the scenery? Someone who is overacting though. Which brings up to our intro question, which we of course always like to lead off the show with, because that's what an intro question implies. Is our boy Chet Hayes? Are you familiar with Chet Hayes?
No.
Before I know.
Yes, I am. But why?
Before you do,
yes, I'm familiar with Chet Hayes. Why do we need to know? Why do we need to talk about him right now?
Well, are you prepared for White Boy Summer all 2021?
Hey guys, look, I just wanted to tap in really quick. I just got this feeling, man, that this summer is it's about to be a white boy summer. You know, take it how you want. I'm not talking about like Trump, NASCAR type white. I'm talking about me, John B, Jack Harlow type white boy summer. You know what I mean? Let me know if you guys can vibe with that, and get ready, because I am.
Nick, are you prepared? And can you vibe with that?
I can't vibe with anything that has to do with Chet Hayes. I can't. Honestly, we went a little little insight into Northwestern's alumni base. That I went there. And so did Chet Hayes.
I did not know that, but well documented. Chet Hayes, not so much.
As did Catherine Hahn and Ross from Friends, David Schwimmer, Elaine, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So look, there's a bad apple.
Meghan Markle, right?
Right. There's always a bad apple mixed in, and that happens to be Chet Hayes, who was, I believe, 2 years older than me. Got in a fight with one of my teammates in college. This was before I went there, so I knew
the baseball bros.
I knew going in, like the frat that he belongs to, which I believe was Pike, We don't mess with them.
Oh, Pi Kappa Alpha. Oh, yeah, they were a rival of my fraternity in college as well. There were some hot shots. I believe Jeremy Piven is a Pike member.
Oh, well, Jeremy Piven, Chet Hayes, and God, that guy sucks.
You don't like him doing the Jamaican patois on the red carpet?
Oh my God. Big up the whole island massive. It's your boy Chetana coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying? Me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
I just want everybody to know that is not an accurate representation of the people that attend Northwestern University.
Oh my God. I love that he can do that. Like, as someone who can't do a lick of accents or has that kind of tone for that, I'm actually jealous of, to be able to do like those type of cool accents.
Oh my God.
I just can't do it. So that's the best thing.
I hate you right now. This guy sucks. What's the intro question other than trying to embarrass me? What's the point of this?
Are you prepared for a white boy summer?
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
What are you doing to prepare for? What are you doing to get ready?
Get out of my face. Tell everybody what we're talking about today. Get fucking Chet Hayes. That guy sucks.
Well, we already mentioned, the Dem Argument Boys were going back to the stand for another classic CMM debate on actor, filmmaker, singer, stolen dinosaur skull buyer, and renowned castle owner, Sir Nicolas Cage. But before that, we have some things to get to in trending now. First and foremost, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2.
Well, I don't trust Red Wing. Hold on a minute.
You don't have to trust Red Wing. But I'm going to go see if he's right. So I have a feeling they might be a part of the Big Three.
What Big Three?
The Big Three.
What Big Three?
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
Every time we fight one of the three.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937.
You guys should have renamed Caps Goose. How do you know about Gandalf? That's that.
Right.
I know Goose running through a bunch of different ideas. Maybe he should consult you next time when it comes to the name. Just throwing that out there.
Yes, of course, we do have the Caps Blues, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier podcast, available anywhere you can access podcasts. It's, of course, myself and Goo from the Mac and Goo program, who already broke down episode 2, but to do it with my original podcasting partner in crime, as we're doing throughout the whole course of the season here, we're debating who won each episode, the Falcon or the Winter Soldier. So, Nick, I will give you the floor. The Star-Spangled Man with the plan. Why did Bucky win this episode?
Okay, I got 2 reasons here. One, a little bit lighter. He's bringing the comedy in with Bucky. We haven't gotten that at all. We've gotten moody, depressing. So, like, emotions getting brought into the fray absolutely makes sense. But of course, we have the Gandalf line here. Their back and forth is good. But I love the Red Wing line when he gets busted and he's like, "Oh, I always wanted to do that." I legitimately laughed out loud. And I don't know if I can ever say that's happened with Bucky, and I don't know if I can say it's ever happened with Falcon either. But the big thing for me was Falcon laying into Sam about the shield. Now, at first, I like it because it's just he's trying to tell him, like, Steve believed in you, and I believed in you too. But in the grand scheme of things, it's so much more than that. And I get it. Look, it all kind of comes back to Bucky when in that course of the discussion. But I really like that because it's deep. It's another layer of Bucky. And it's like he's like telling Sam, like, hey, you're pretty friggin' awesome. And if you suck or you're not worthy, then what the fuck am I?
Yeah. No, and I think this was definitely a more Bucky-centric episode, but from the perspective of Sam, it's hard. He took some L's here, right? He was getting racially profiled by the cops in Baltimore. He finds out about, the Black Captain America, Isaiah Bradley, excuse me, and how he was kind of hidden from the world and from Sam and Captain America in general. So a lot of tough L's for him, and especially even in the first episode too. Getting denied the bank loan and all that stuff. But what I think is going to be interesting is you see that kind of character development of any true hero story, right? Of hear him kind of going through the bottoms and the lulls only for a major comeback, right? A minor setback for a major comeback. I believe that was Loso, in case you ain't know so, who said that. So keep that in mind, the great philosophizer. But I think and he also kind of gets like wingmanned by U.S. Agent a couple of times and Battlestar, who is just like one of the worst names I've ever heard there, right? So and they're actually like the yin and yang of Bucky and they're like the doppelgangers of Bucky and Sam. So it's kind of like the mirror match villain again, kind of coming into the fray. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested to see how he kind of comes back and kind of regains. I don't know, the worthiness of the Shield is the right aspect of it, but I love his relationship with Torres as well. Torres, I think, is one of the great underrated characters of this show early on. I think he's done it for superb, fantastic, fruturbed, something like that. He's done a good job.
It's been a great show from the first 2 episodes, like we expected. This was good. We thought WandaVision would be good, and we thought it was in an advantageous position because we hadn't had any Marvel content for a while. But we also know that Marvel does so well with characters that we're not really familiar with or didn't care about as much in the past. But with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, again, I think it was it Casey that said to us that they're like C-level characters? Maybe they were at some point, but they are far from that anymore. You want to say B, maybe, but they both had a potential going into this, and they have hit the ground running for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming from the comic books, right? I think they're probably C-level characters,
Definitely.
right? But I think obviously the job that Marvel has done with Ant-Man and Guardians, right? That's been talked over a number of times there. So they obviously do a great job with that. A couple questions moving forward, right? We want to know what the Power Brokers deal is, right? I think that's kind of the big deal with the Flag Smashers and what the vaccine's for. How does Sam and Bucky get, meet up with Zemo, and do they kind of form like a little friendly frenemy alliance sort of thing for a little bit? And also I think also is important. It's almost slipping my mind. Well,
while you're thinking of that, I'm wondering when we're going to see Sharon Carter and all this, because you guys mentioned that on Cap's Booze that we've seen pretty much everything we're going to see from the trailers features mostly stuff from episode 1 and 2. We haven't seen her yet in the course of all this. So
and I'm very interested in that as well. Thank you for letting my mind kind of catch up there for a second, because it's the Global Repatriation League, which of course like US Agent and Battlestar are part. Who is running that? I've been watching a lot of videos and speculation, and people and insiders are wondering could that be a way for Thunderbolt Ross to kind of get into the fold? He seems like someone who could lead up that type of government agency, government group.
Yeah, I think the character Battlestar, by the way, has potential. He shows up in the US Agent ongoing comic series right now, but that name, you're screwed, because Battlestar Galactica, I wonder if before that show, people would have been in on it, but neither of us have watched that. That's just not our cup of tea at all. I'm assuming you haven't watched it, but it just strikes me as like bad Star Trek.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to go a little more clever with a nickname. I'm not sure what his abilities are, if he's just like really strong or anything, but Battlestar just seems kind of lame. And I really like John Walker from this point. Obviously, he's going to be penned up to be some sort of villain. Who's the guy from The Boys, a Homelander type character, right? But he's also getting a lot of hate on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen these memes going around, but I posted it in the DSG group, and I'm like, I'm not sure if there's ever I don't think US Agent can continue on because he's getting so much hate and comparisons to unfavorable things.
Yeah, well, I think for the only person that in the grand scheme of it all that I don't say worried for, but for the actor, I hope that people don't carry that over past the show. Other than that, though, I think it's great that people fucking hate this character. I hate him too, and I like the comic so far. That's been good. The current ongoing US Agent series, but the whole point is to not like that guy. When I saw him revealed at the end, and Falcon, they basically just gave him the bird with that. Yeah, pun not intended. I was pissed. You're supposed to.
Pun should be intended. That was good.
Thank you. You're not supposed to be okay with this. You're supposed to be mad about it. So mission accomplished. And if people want to call him, a white supremacist or whatever, probably going a little too far. But at the same time, we're talking about a fictional character. So I honestly welcome all the hate for the fictional character. For the actor, he's doing a good job. But that's about it. Much better job than Nick Cage would do in the role. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, early jabs. I don't like that. But no, he does have a really smug smile, when you said when he was introduced at the first episode there, and he kind of gets that wave, and it's a real punchable face.
Yeah, definitely. And he was also in the one episode of Black Mirror that I've ever watched, and that show freaks me out. I gotta watch.
Yeah, he was also in 22 Jump. I mentioned this plenty of times. 22 Jump Street. He's great. Suicide Squad trailer. Suicide Squad trailer, not to be confused with Suicide Squad.
Right.
The Ayers cut, which may or may not get released, who knows? But the James Gunn Suicide Squad. Nick, what do you think?
I am beyond excited for this. And the fact that Idris Elba is going to seems like the point man in this. I mean, look, I don't think any character is really safe other than maybe Peacemaker and I would venture to say Harley Quinn. The whole like confusion with the universe, I'm not entirely certain what's going on there, but I feel like those are the two characters that are safe. Idris Elba should be, and then maybe Rick Flag. Outside of that, I could easily see everybody dying in all this. I'm here for it. 100%.
Protect King Shark at all costs, right? I think another podcast like to say that, but I mean, what a great introduction, right? I mean, I was just, this might be my quarantine corner, but I've been rewatching Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, so he has a nice little, cameo and appearance in there. I've heard great things about the Harley Quinn show, which I believe he's an animated show, which he's a part of. Right?
That's on HBO Max too now. You got to watch that.
Yeah, I know. I haven't fully committed. I just got to press the button.
Reminder to you and to everybody who hasn't watched it yet. The first episode, I know this happens a lot with shows, but it really is by far the worst.
Okay. All right. Well, you got to build to it. But, I love what they've done with this as, again, that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy ragtag group of misfits that's just full of jabs, right? So I think they even did, Captain Boomerang better. He looks, a little bit more fit for the part. I love who's John Cena. What's his name? Peacemaker. I forgot Pete Davidson's in this. And as I mentioned, Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. That's great too.
Yes. Remember, King Shark is a shark. People forget that. But and we talked. Yes, that is your hand. But for those who haven't watched that already, Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, A, that's on HBO Max now, and B, Wes and I did an episode on that back in the summer last year, right?
Yes.
Summer?
Yeah, during the quarantine. It's probably right around the time of the Mortal Kombat review, too. So I think they were back to back.
Yes. Speaking of that, we got Mortal Kombat, the live action version coming out, but I'm very excited for Suicide Squad. And look, I know the way James Gunn got this gig as director was not under ideal circumstances for him. And of course, things have changed a lot for him for the better. But I'm honestly I'm so happy he's on this movie. Like, this looks outstanding. This is exactly what we should be getting with the Suicide Squad type thing. And I think we saw like that in the comics too with Tom Taylor's version of it, what he was doing with DC last year. I think he did an 11-issue run. I think the second trade came out of that for that recently. But either way, I don't want any of these characters to feel safe. I don't feel comfortable about their future at all throughout this movie. And I feel like James Gunn, as much as he's going to dick around a lot, I think in that regard too, he's going to make sure a lot of characters, bite the bullet or whatever.
Hey, the movie's been in good hands. He's produced good quality too. So I seen that this seems something that's perfect for him, right up his alley. It seems like a match made in heaven. So I'm excited to see it. The trailer was a home run. So expectations high now. Now they got to deliver.
You're the roof, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Nick, have you seen this? This is a tough transition. Lil Nas X. Are you familiar with this character?
The person, yeah. I don't know what his real name is, but yeah.
Have you been down to Old Town Road recently?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why that song was such a hit. It was a good song for sure. But
not only was he taking his horse down to Old Town Road, but apparently he was going down there to see the devil, because in his new music video called Montero, he can be seen twerking and doing other suggestive things to the devil himself, Lucifer, not Mephisto. Although Mephisto may have made a cameo. I haven't really gone back and been able to check that out.
Well, I would warn Lil Nas X, if there hasn't been any, I guess, intercourse or, certain things that could lead to diseases being transferred, I'm fairly certain that Lucifer has slept with John Constantine previously, who also slept with King Shark. So these are all things that you want to keep in mind in the course of things. It's very important.
The devil slept with King Shark or John Constantine? Okay.
Yes.
I was getting the threesome kind of confused there, the thruple.
It actually comes up in Justice League Justice League Dark. Remember?
I'd have to. Yeah. Maybe I don't.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Either way, I don't want to. That's actually, I think. Well, either way, I just want to warn Lil Nas X that Constantine gets around. So anybody that's been with Constantine, just be safe.
Very crazy. You saw some of the video. I mean, it's out there. And just to put matters, make matters worse, he's done this sneaker collab where he's releasing 666 pairs that all have a drop of human blood in each sole.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's great. Hey, I get labeled the God guy in here, but that guy needs Jesus, right?
He needs something. Holy crap. I hope it's his blood and not other people's blood. That'd be kind of even worse.
Who knows? I think it's blasphemous. It's put him in the souls, the soulless. We got Dr. Joe Gilmore in the chat. Satan shoes over here. I like that. Satan satin shoes. Maybe the satin patent leather. Maybe there's something you could do with that.
You know, we missed an opportunity here. I watched the music video after you told me about this, and I didn't listen to the music. I just wanted to get the images, of course, burned into my memory now. We should have done a reading like we did with WAP last year.
Oh, a live dramatic reading. Maybe for next week for the people if it's catching on, you know?
Yeah, maybe we can mix that in the quarantine corner. Maybe we'll figure something out. But it was that one got people annoyed, and honestly, like whatever.
It's a lot. It's a lot. No matter what you think about it, that's a lot.
Yeah, that one was.
It's a lot.
Yeah, either. All right. Anyways, moving back to the superhero stuff. Again, I don't know how we transitioned out of the Lil Nas X stuff, but
you did it beautifully.
Thank you so much. Pierce Brosnan has been cast as Dr. Fate in the Black Adam movie, and Russell Crowe has joined the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder. Do you have an opinion on either one of these two?
Well, okay. So first, I'm more familiar with Thor: Love and Thunder and Russell Crowe. That's cool. When we saw the tweet right from was it Deadline? I think that's what we're reading that from. It says, Russell Crowe is on, or joining the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder, as well as many others like Matt Damon reprising their role. So, I see that in one tweet, and my mind immediately goes to, I see a fat Russell Crowe who can maybe play, Anthony Hopkins' Odin, in that type of play, much like what Matt Damon was Loki. He was Loki. Ragnarok. So I think it's something that's kind of where my mind goes. I don't think it's going to be a big role. I think it might be something like a light, fun type of thing.
That would make more sense because this is kind of late for that to be coming out. And then just like Russell Crowe, if it's for something like that, you can just call him up one day and then bing,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and with Matt Damon, like, what is it all? When you say what does it all mean? When I look at reports now, anytime someone does connects the dots like that, instantly it's got to be there's a reason behind that. They're not just going to throw Matt Damon in the Thor movie out there for no reason. I mean, it's clear he's Odin or some other character to that end.
At least that's just where my conspiratorial mind does. I got the Charlie Kelly trying to connect the dots. Carol. But anyway, Dr. Fate. Little different here. I don't know much about him. Of course, he said Black Adam that he's going to be playing a role in. So I did a quick Google search of him. He's apparently a powerful sorcerer. Sounds familiar. An agent for the Lords of Order who fight evil alongside his wife Inza. His amulet, cloak, and helmet are creations of the ancient Naboo, who acts as his mentor and spiritual guide. He's the founding member of the Justice Society of America. Cool.
The helmet's a big deal, and we see him. We see him alluded to quite a bit in the comics. He pops up quite a bit too. I've seen him. He was in the Justice League Dark Future State book, but he was a different character, not the same person playing Dr. Fate or taking on the role of Dr. Fate. And then, of course, he was in what was it? Batman: Last Night on Earth. His helmet was actually in there. Wonder Woman had his helmet. But either way, the point is that he's kind of like Doctor Strange. I forget who came first, but they're of the similar role. I think Fate's a little bit more powerful, a little more all-knowing, but at the same time, he's less inclined to intervene. But they both play that kind of they will sit back and not change things. They know what's going on, but they can't. They have to keep order and whatever. So it's a similar mind, similar. But I think Strange. I don't think you can do a movie on Fate, but you can obviously on Strange.
Okay, but he's a good complementary character.
Yeah, I think I'm just not sure how they're going to handle Black Adam because, of course, he's people want to label him more as an anti-hero, but I always look at him as more of a villain. I get with him and Magneto how there's there could be a line drawn between the two, but I still feel like Black Adam ventures too much closer to villain than even Magneto necessarily does. So. But it's The Rock. He's not going to be a villain.
That's what I was going to say. Everyone loves The Rock. So, whether he's a villain or not, I think people are just going to like him almost like, WandaVision. Wanda's the villain, but everyone loves her.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of DC stuff, too, we're also going to be getting Lucifer back. I think it's May 28th. Found out today, the show, and Netflix tweeted out that the second half of season 5 is going to drop on May 8th. I'm very excited for this. Maybe we'll do, because you don't watch Lucifer, right?
What's Netflix? I forget what Netflix is.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Really? You have?
No, honestly, I hardly ever watch it.
Really? You haven't watched the Blockbuster thing yet?
I've watched parts and pieces of it, but there's just not a whole lot that's pulling me there.
Okay. That's fair, I guess. But I like the Lucifer show. I've enjoyed it since I gave it a shot. I mean, it's more definitely the character carries the show more so than anything else. The overarching plot I do think is interesting, but it can be a bit formulaic because it used to be I think it was a CBS show. Previously.
Yeah.
I think it's Jerry Bruckheimer, so you kind of know what that can kind of entail. But it's gotten a little bit better since it went to Netflix. I've enjoyed it. But like I said, what I was going to say was I think we'll do a DSG Facebook special at some point leading up to that. But
Okay.
I think Doc likes it. I think Davey likes it. There may be other people in the DSG, but those are only two that I know of that are liking it. But very excited for that to come out. And speaking of comic book shows too, we've talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier, but also last Friday, the first 3 episodes, I did not expect 3 episodes of the animated Prime show Invincible dropped. Have you watched this, or do you plan on watching?
No, so I've seen so much about this, and I don't know. It looks interesting. I've seen a lot of people tweeting about it. You guys, people in the DSG, old nerdy bastard there, old Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I, tell me about it. What's the deal? Everyone's kind of been raving about it, but sell me on it.
So first of all, it's an animated show. Second,
Okay.
It's you with The Walking Dead, and I understand how people have gotten tired of The Walking Dead. I know that. But with The Walking Dead, when Robert Kirkman wrote that book, it's more about what human life is like when you're thrown into a zombie apocalypse and everything's kind of gone to shit. How do you survive? How do people adjust? What does it do to the world? This is of a similar mind, although you haven't, obviously some bad things happen, but you're not thrown into this like end of times thing right away. You're dealing with it's what's life is like as a kid growing up a superhero and dealing with a superhero parent, and it's more of that, and having superhero friends, trying to find the balance of life and work, I guess, if you want. I mean,
a work-life balance. Yeah. So we're all looking for that.
And then it is. We've talked about the violence in Justice League Dark, and of course, Mortal Kombat. No shortage of that. I thought this was going to be pretty graphic, and it exceeded my expectations for sure.
Okay.
So I watched the first 3 episodes this weekend. Lauren actually watched it too. She's all in on it. So it's and I've talked about the book, the series. I read the first 4 trades. I think there are 25 trades of this thing at least that are all available, like Comixology and it's comic stores and everything. But we talked about a lot
of content. Yeah.
Yep, we talked about it on TLDR, and I'm surprised. In some ways, I'm surprised at the route they took, but also it kind of makes sense just because you want to draw people in right away. You'll know what I'm talking about for those who've watched episode 1, and you'll know right away too. The episode 1, it's a jaw dropper for sure by the end.
Okay, so maybe that might jump up my Q rankings here, so that might be number 1 on my charts.
I'd love for you to watch it so we can maybe do an episode on it down the line, but I understand the animated stuff can take people out of it for sure. But
yeah. Well, Nick, I know you got a couple people. You got Goo specifically lined up in your crosshairs tonight in the comic book minute here. But what do you got for us? What are some trades and issues to be on the lookout for?
Speaking of animated stuff, actually, I saw that the Transformers My Little Pony trade is coming out. I think, what is that called? Is it Friends in Disguise or something like that? I don't know, but Doc's a big fan of that. So
I kids, it's a good crossover if you got that father-daughter relationship and you want to introduce comics to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a big dad group here.
Of course, yeah, not me, but you guys. No, actually, not you either. But either way, you're close. Better. Yeah, there you go. Better Ray Bill. I know you talk about him all the time. You want to see him brought into the MCU. He's got his own ongoing series starting this week. You're also getting that for Silk, who we've seen in and out with Spider-Man stuff over the years. I don't know if she's ever had an ongoing series, but I don't know if I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to try and read Better Ray Bill so I can report back to you on that one. Also, nice. X-Men
more like Better Ray Bill, am I right?
Ooh. X-Men Legends issue 2 is out this week, and I really love the first issue. If you guys haven't read that already, I'm sure comic shops have a ton of those left over because you needed to get that in excess because it was an awesome first issue. I would hope the second one's going to be just as good too. The Witcher Fading Memories issue 4. I'm going to be reviewing that this week. This is the final issue of this Dark Horse miniseries. It has been friggin' awesome. If you want more Witcher content, I would be on the lookout for the trade or try and find these issues. It's one short story, but I really, really enjoyed it. But yes, Wes, you're right.
This is what I've been waiting for.
You brought up Goo. And look, I understand that he's now one of your podcast partners, and I respect that. And I'm not frustrated with you at all. I actually want to thank you for bringing up Truth, Red, White, and Black from the Isaiah Bradley comic that I'm hopefully going to talk about this week on TLDR, so long as I like the 7-issue series. I got it. I'm going to go read it. If I don't like it, that's how it works on TLDR. We're not talking about it, at least in full form, because we want to push the stuff that we like. But Goo said when you brought that up on Cap's Booze that we're a little slow when it comes to that stuff. First of all, Invincible. We talked about that the same week that the series was dropping, planned that completely. Let's see. We talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, when we got after the first trailer. So kind of trying to build off of the excitement there. Okay. But then there's also the WandaVision stuff. He said you talked about House of M after the fact. Well, if you listen to the episode, which why wouldn't you? We're only part of the same podcast. Of course, sure. It's definitely the best one for people who don't read comics but want to learn more about what's going on with the stories and maybe what's happening on with the MCU later on, because we looked at what happened there and how it could set up shit for later. This WandaVision just like set the table for House of M, really, if you think about it, and if you listen to that episode. So I was like flabbergasted when Goose said we might want to rethink what we're doing. I mean, honestly, any of our listeners that listen to that episode, of Cavs Booze and had heard that episode of TLDR knows Goo just sounds like a complete buffoon.
Well, we know Goo can't read, so maybe Goo can't listen to podcasts about reading either. So maybe that's it. But I'm not going to besmirch the name of anyone. I'm in between a rock and a hard place. I feel like my parents are divorced again, and I have to send messages back and forth. That caused me a lot of personal trauma, Nick. I don't think I can relive those moments just yet.
I am so sorry. That is so inconsiderate of me. I totally didn't even think of that.
Think about me when you do this stuff, huh?
Oh, my God. This is not your fault, Wes. I did say that before. This is not your fault. I appreciate what you're doing. You are great. Thank you so much for being so awesome.
Now I feel like you're just pandering to me, and I'm going to reject your nice things because I don't know how to receive compliments.
I would never do something like that. This is not pandering at all. But
I do know how to receive the excellent film work of one Sir Nicolas Cage.
Hi, Rick Santoro. Hello, Richard Santoro. I'm Ricky. That's right. That is right. Everybody loves Rick Santoro. You turn me on, you turn me on, you're not too tall, you're not too short, you're not too round, you're like a cat, the cat in the hat. Whoops! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Are you a vampire, Nick?
I have been accused of being a vampire before because of, I'm not tanned the majority of the time. So.
Oh, yes. Well, tan all over, not Jan all over, right? Isn't that how the saying goes?
Is that an office thing?
Anyway, main topic time. We are, yes, as I mentioned off the top of the show, stepping back up to the debate podium. The master debaters of the Dorkshire Gooniverse are back once again to discuss one Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, which is not even his real name for those keeping track at home. He was born Nicholas Kim Coppola in Long Beach, California on January 7th, 1964. He's the nephew of the famous film director Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes, and he was a Beverly Hills high school dropout who eventually changed his name to Cage to make his own reputation. His name was derived in part by his love for Marvel Comics superhero Luke Cage.
All right, I'll give him that. I do like that. He has 106 movie credits to his name, 17 producer credits, 1 director credit. I'm sure that was a banger of a film. And then 8 soundtrack credits. Maybe that's what PCB should do this week. They should talk about all of Nick Cage's amazing musical ventures. He's a 1-time Oscar Best Actor winner. I don't know how, a 2-time nominee for that category, and a 4-time nominee Best Actor in the Golden Globes. He won it once, and a 2-time winner of the Best On-Screen Duo Award in 1997 and 1998 for The Rock and Face Off.
Of course, some of his most memorable work, taking home a couple of the golden popcorn statues. I'm sure that's right up at the mantle in the old Cage household.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Because okay. I want it to be known right now out the gates, in case you can't figure out as we go along. I do not think Nicolas Cage is a good actor. I do not understand Wes's infatuation with this guy. He's not.
The guy's charismatic. He's got. I don't know. I don't know how you can't.
Charismatic.
He just draws you into the screen.
Okay, I'm going to start it right here. Okay, because wait. Do you think he's a good actor? Like,
well, okay. So first,
I
think just a little bit of framing. You know how much I love a good framing, like a carpenter that I am.
Big picture guy.
Yeah, big picture guy. So for this, we're going to install our classic format here that everybody's aware of for the debate club, where we each have 1 minute to respond to the question with a 30-second response. So, Nick, I was happy to give you the floor on the first question here with your 1 minute response. I'll give you, a little note at 30, maybe 15 seconds here. I will respond with 30 seconds and then give my take on is he a good answer or good. I'll respond and then you can respond to me.
Got it.
That makes sense.
So minute, 30, boom.
Minute 30.
Right. Oh, yes. My apologies. Okay. Got confused there. All right. So is Nick Cage a good actor? Of course he's not, right? Because when we look, you talk, Wes, about Mark Wahlberg, not a good actor. Of course, Wes famously does not like Mark Wahlberg. I think most of the DSG kind of feels that way. Most of New England feels that way. With Nicolas Cage, okay, sorry. Why do you not like Mark Wahlberg? Because he always plays the same role over and over again. And when you look at Mark Wahlberg's character, you don't see another character. You just see Mark Wahlberg, right? Well, when Nicolas Cage is on screen, you don't see the character that he's playing. You just see Nicolas Cage. And I get that's gonna put some people in the theater, sure, people like Wes who think he's funny and whatever. And for something like the history of swear words, sure, because it's Nick Cage that we're getting there. But when we want to get invested in a certain character, thank you. When we're getting invested in a certain character in a movie and want to get immersed in that world, everything just seems dumber because Nicolas Cage is there, because he's just being himself the whole time. So he's not a good actor because he can't buy him as anybody else but him.
Nice, well done. Right in the minute. That's pretty good. I got as a couple of big J journalists, getting the argument done and on deadline is a very important thing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so you now have 30 seconds.
Okay, ready. 3, 2, 1. How dare you, Nick, compare Nicolas Cage to Mark Wahlberg? That is an atrocity upon levels that I can't even understand. I'm not even sure if the Bible has written about such atrocities. And they've talked about fire and brimstone. But at any rate, what Nicolas Cage has, what Mark Wahlberg lacks, is personality, is charisma, is an engaging aura about him that just draws you in, that makes you want to see more, regardless of whether he's playing a long-haired Superman or a middle-aged carjacking thief who's in love with a blonde woman with dreadlocks.
Time. Yes, I only gave you 5 seconds warning, and I apologize. So you can cut off a little bit of my time if you want. By all means, go ahead. All right, so I don't feel bad about this at all, first of all, comparing him to Mark Wahlberg. And I think, oh my God, no, we're talking about his charisma, right? So that's not to do with his acting, because he's the same thing, or very close to the same thing every single time. And that is Wahlberg's criticism. And look, I know I'm just picking on him. There are, of course, other actors and actresses like that out there, but he's one that jumps to my mind right away. And Nick Cage is the same thing. I didn't see it before, but as I'm watching this shit jiu-jitsu film, because I wanted to at least have an idea what was going on, what inspired this whole episode, it's Nick Cage. It's basically oh my God, Johnny Blaze, just fucking 15 years later, and now he's still kind of got his fastball a little bit in terms of his fighting, but that's really it. He's the same thing all the time, over and over. Not the bees. That's it. So
Nick, are you through? Because I believe you're breaking the rules right now. Typically, how we decided this would go would be a minute, 30 seconds. I would respond to yours, and then I would have a chance to answer the question: is he a good actor or not?
I thought it was. Wes, we changed the rules. I thought it was before it was
1:30. A minute 30. That's how it goes.
Okay. Okay, so you're doing a minute 30 straight up there. Got it.
No, a minute 30 seconds. You go 1 minute. I go 30 seconds.
Yes.
To respond to your answer. Then I have my 1 minute defense. It's how the prosecution presents their case and then the defense presents their case, but each time either side can cross-examine.
Yes. But in my defense,
isn't your dad a lawyer?
Yes, but Wes, if you really, in my defense, last time we did this, I believe was the bat, and you'll get your minute, and I will retract my 30 seconds, of course, happily. But
Well, you can't retract. It's out there. Yeah, you can't.
I'm sorry.
The jury
I
is
will
stricken from the
relinquish. Okay, wrong word choice. I will relinquish my 30 seconds that I was supposed to have after your initial debate. So my counter argument is done. Okay. What I was going to say though is last time when we did the Iron Man Batman one, I believe we did minute 30, and that's the last time I remember. It's like I specifically setting a hard time.
You give me 30 seconds anyway.
But you're the one that I was trying to go by your rules. That's where I got confused. So, anyways, my apologies. I screwed up. We now know moving forward. We should
just end the show now, Nick. It's all over. You've ruined everything.
We got 40 minutes in. That's not bad.
I know. What are we just scrap the whole thing? What do you say?
Yeah, I guess so. Why not?
Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm just saying, that was the format that I envisioned. Maybe I did a poor job of communicating that. How's that for 2021 New Year's resolution?
Sure. That's what I was trying to go for in the whole thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so Nick, you have 1 minute to give an answer. I have 30 seconds to respond to your answer. I then have 1 minute to give my answer, to present my case, if you will. You have 30 seconds to respond to said case.
Got it. Okay.
Got it?
Starting now.
First of all, I'm going to use some of my time here to say you got to stop drinking when you do this show, first of all. Secondly, is he a good actor? Yes, but don't take my word for it. Just ask the man himself, who previously described his own acting style with such terms as, quote, German expressionism and Western kabuki and, quote, mega acting. Only great actors use those terms. Or how about the time that he removed not one, but two of his own teeth without any anesthesia so he could feel the pain of his character, a Vietnam War vet in Birdie? Or how about when he spent 5 weeks with his face wrapped in bandages to get brutal reactions for passersby and only to then get his skin infected with ingrown hairs due to it? Or the best of it, while he was filming Vampire's Kiss, the casting director told this story where Nick Cage demanded hot yogurt be poured over his toes to not get aroused during love scenes. The man is dedicated, ladies and gentlemen. He's a fantastic actor. He's a one-time Academy Award winner, two-time nominee. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the succinctness. I'm going to do this in 15 seconds because of what happened before. And I appreciate the yogurt thing so he doesn't get aroused. I think that's a nice touch.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's nice to be respectful in the course of all those things. I thought people took pills for that. But anyways, really quickly, outside of that, so he needs those little things so he can really figure out what's going on with the roles. I feel like that's like what Jared Leto used to do with the rat stuff. So I'm not like sending people dead rats, whatever, really getting into the method or whatever. I'm not into that stuff. So again, out on Nicolas Cage as an actor.
Well, you're not in on Christian Bale, maybe gaining and losing massive amounts of weight to dedicate
vastly
to the role.
Different. Come on.
It's dedication. It's a form of dedication.
Oh my God, that's not even remotely the same thing. That's changing yourself for the role so you don't have to wear a fat suit or they don't have to do CGI. The other stuff's like method. That's not the same thing.
Maybe it's a different walk of a mile in a fat man's shoes and a skinny man's shoes.
I see what you're trying to do, and I've made pretty clear it's not the same thing. It's definitely
not. Question number 2, Nick, I'll let you lead off here. Is he undeniably the most underrated actor of our generation? Yes or yes?
How could he be? No, he's the most overrated actor of our generation. Okay, thank you. He's the most overrated actor of our generation because he gets roles like Kick-Ass. I can understand how he got that, and obviously that worked out well. I think that's him. But when he gets the history of swear words, why do I want Nick Cage for that necessarily? Because when we end up seeing him do it, he's at that point, Wes. I know we're going to kind of touch on this a little bit more, but he's aware that people find him funny because of his overreacting. So what does he do? He really leans into it. And guess what? If you haven't taken the time to watch it, and it's already a subject matter that seems kind of interesting for anybody, I would think, and you like Nick Cage, why have you not watched it yet? So anyways, no, I think he's immensely overrated. For him to get leading roles, to get being a Marvel hero. I know he's been pushing that for a long time, but for him to get leading roles over and over again, then turn into basically a bit character now. I mean, not even like a supporting man, really. I think that says it all right there. He's he's overrated immensely.
1, stop.
Thank you.
Now, as my retort to your response here, 3, 2, 1. You keep using jujitsu and the history of swear words and Ghost Rider to, use him. You're picking all of his worst things. You have to at least be aware of his high notes. Leaving Las Vegas, Raising Arizona, Gone in 60 Seconds, all of these great movies, National Treasure, all of these great movies in here where he built up his whole career on, not what he's riding to cash checks at this point in time.
1. All right. So now it is your turn to make your case why he is the most underrated actor of our lifetime. Yes or yes?
Yes or yes. 3, 2, 1. Is he the most undeniable, most underrated actor of our generation? Of course he is. And of course he gets his fair share of criticism. I think that's rightfully due. But I think he definitely is on the short list of underrated actors. I think maybe Ewan McGregor is on that list, maybe Benicio del Toro perhaps, but he's definitely a great actor. Sam Rockwell is on there. Jesse Plemons, maybe a newcomer, but anyway, if you don't want to take my word for it, why don't we go to Ethan Hawke? We all know who Ethan Hawke is. Gattaca, right? Training Day. He said in 2013 that Cage is, quote, the only actor since Marlon Brando that's actually done anything new with art, end quote, and credited him for taking film audiences, quote, away from an obsession with naturalism and into a kind of presentation style of acting that I imagine was popular with the old troubadours. Who says stuff like that? Only the greatest actors of a generation, that's who. Or David Lynch, a director who described Cage as, quote, the jazz musician of America acting. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's all you need. You were almost done anyways. I'm trying to look up Ethan Hawke's filmography and exactly what he's done in the past few years, because I feel like I could give a shit about what Ethan Hawke's opinion is. And all this, my clock started. I hope you were checking before, but I could care less about what he does. And you're going to, of course, you bring in Benicio del Toro and Ian McGregor because you're trying to do the same thing that I did. You're bringing up people who, when you associate Nick Cage with him, oh, he's awesome. That's great. He's associated with those guys. Yeah, like Pavlov's dog or whatever, that kind of shit. Wahlberg, me bringing him up, it made sense. There's a definitive line with that stuff. But outside of that, National Treasure, not a good movie.
1. I don't see the definitive line between Wahlberg and Nick Cage at all. But anyway.
You weren't listening. That's just what it comes down to.
He's got the rings, man. He's got the awards. Okay, Jet. This is a great question here. Okay, because this is different. This is different from an actor's point of view, right? Is he a good actor? But Sir Nicolas Cage? Does he generally make good or bad movies? Starting the clock in 3, 2, 1. On you go.
Not really. No, I think the Gone in 60 Seconds, Con Air, right? I have his IMDb page pulled up. I've never seen Adaptation, but that's his highest ranked movie on Adaptation. Then there's Kick-Ass, Lord of War, which I've never heard of that. But the Face Off is what, a 7.3 on IMDb. But so I think right then and there, I respect IMDb. You do as well. Sure, we do disagree with it once in a while, but that's going to happen. In general,
30 seconds.
Meh, at best with Nick Cage. And you're a National Treasure. Come on, Wes. Get out of here. Nick Cage is best known for being a meme. That's all he is. That's why he's relevant now. That's why you like him, because it goes in line with all your internet goofiness stuff. Not because he creates these entertaining movies. National Treasure is funny for anybody that finds it funny, is because it's just so friggin' ridiculous. So no, all of his movies are are a joke.
2,
so no, he doesn't make good movies in general.
1. Done. All right, to respond with my 30 seconds here, Nick, all you're doing is trying to tear me down, and all I'm doing is presenting facts. I'm presenting Academy Awards that he's won. I'm presenting movies that he's won. I'm presenting things, and all you try to say is that I'm hopping on something for an actor that I liked before the internet was invented, that I like him because of the internet, which doesn't make any sense at all. I wonder about your preparation skills for this episode and your dedication to the podcast overall.
Okay. Oh, that's it. That's your 30 seconds. You didn't even go 30. Okay. Wow. Look at you. See, at least I'm taking up my entire time. And in fact, stealing time.
Succinct. It's succinct. Stealing time. Yes.
Sure.
Borrowing.
Sure. All right. So are you ready to go with your argument? I'll give you the countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Again, how many cult classic roles or movies has he been in? Let's go down the list. We would do it Mike Francesa style. Face Off, Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, National Treasure, $100 million movie, I might add, that got you a sequel, National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. The Rock, which was the front end of his back-to-back MTV Movie Awards Best On-Screen Performance Duo. That's a record that I'm not sure has been broken to this point. He's been in such movies playing, character roles like Matchstick Men, a Ridley Scott film, Raising Arizona, The Coen Brothers, Moonstruck, one of his breakout roles in the late 80s, I think 87. Great year, I might add, where he starred alongside Cher. Leaving Las Vegas, which is where he won his Academy Award and got all of his claim. 8mm, The Weatherman, The Family Man. There's a lot of great range in there. Into the Spider-Verse, all that stuff. The man is entertaining AF, as the internet kids like to say.
2, 1, and I'm going to start right now. Okay, first of all, don't bring up the Spider-Man stuff because I think that actually was what led to him now being in on the joke because he was perfect for that role, sure, but then moving forward, it's like now he's just trying to lean into it, and it's only getting worse that way. But Wes, we're talking about is he making these great movies? Great movie, cult classics, sure, they're fun, but they're cult classics for a reason. We did a whole episode on it. We should have done a whole thing on his catalog. But if you're just making cult classics and not these bangers all the time or once in a while, then how great of an actor are you really? How great are your movies really? You got to give me a countdown next time.
30 seconds. Sorry, you're actually perfect there. I got you at 30.81, and I was late to stop. So the internal clock that was really well.
Thank you. Okay, I shouldn't have questioned you. All right, awesome.
Oh,
all right,
that was great. Okay, so I believe we have 2 more questions left.
I have 2. Yep.
Okay, so question number 2. Do you think for question number 2 of the 2 questions left? Do you think he's in on the joke? Nick, I'll give you the floor here if you would like to start.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, he's definitely in on the joke. I don't think he always was in on the joke because there was definitely a point in time where he was very consistent for a while with his overacting. And you can look at whether it's the oh my god, what the hell's the vampire one that we were just looking? The one with where he makes the bug eyes. Well, vampires.
Vampire Lives.
Yeah. Either way, wait a minute. I need to know this now. Vampire's Kiss. So thank you. So Vampire's Kiss. But either way, like in all of these movies, we see his unbelievable weirdness that it just seems natural for him, and he does, and he carries it over into any role that he's done. And then now, where I'm watching Jiu-Jitsu, where I'm watching these, I know I'm not just citing his recent Netflix stuff. It's relevant, but you see, okay, how about one from years back, Ghost Rider 2? He fucking overacted the shit out of that. And I've seen it in the other stuff too. Oh, it Gone in 60 Seconds. The Let's Ride thing. That don't tell me that's not ridiculous. Now, I don't think he was aware at that point.
1-0.
Dang it. I got a little excited on that one. Shit.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Way back movie. Your argument is Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance. That's way back in the machine. The guy's been around since the 80s, since before you were born, Nick. And you go back to 5-6 years ago as an argument. I'm telling you, man, recency bias with the kids these days. You got to go back, pick up a history book.
Okay. I mean, hey, you're on. Well, I can't. It's not my turn.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. My defense. Go. Of course he's in on the joke. I agree with you. The guy has made and lost millions, has made and lost 5 wives, has made it big at a young age, winning Oscars. Yeah, 5 wives, including Lisa Marie Presley. What does he have left to prove? It's part of the reason why he wanted to do Superman Lives and roles like that. He wants to take on roles like Spider-Man Noir, Into the Spider-Verse, or do voiceovers for the History of Swears. He doesn't have anything left to prove. He just wants to make the joke. And the guy's broke. The guy needs money. And he says this with 30 seconds that I have left. There is this misperception, if you will, in critical response or even in Hollywood that I can only do exaggerated characters or what they would call over-the-top performances. He pauses as if issuing a historic statement for the podium. Well, this is completely false. I love it. So this is from a Variety magazine, I believe. Another quote, the internet has developed this thing about me, and I'm not even a computer guy, I don't even know why it's happening. I'm not trying to, let me say this. I'm not of the mindset that when in Rome, if you can't beat them, join them. And that's
yes. All right. So, you said something beforehand that I lost it that I was going to, so the recency bias stuff that you brought up before in your counter argument. Yeah, okay. Like you're only as good as your worst movie, right? Isn't that how it works with sports and stuff? You're only as good as the worst player on your roster. So yeah, I'm going to judge him on that. I can't just judge him on the hits. And again, how many hits does he really have? Not many. So and when you go and butcher characters that could be interesting too, whatever, I just
10 seconds.
I know it's not part of the focus of all this too, but I do think that you have to consider all of it. And when you look at some of his new stuff, he's still doing it. I mean, I can't just let it go.
3,
I have to judge on it.
2,
Time.
1. Before we move forward, Nick, I think just a quick sidebar note between the two, lawyers here in the room. Would you like to be judged on your worst college baseball year?
I am all the time. So what does it matter? I
am.
am.
That's a fair assessment.
I don't really care. I guess I don't think Nick Cage necessarily cares either. In his defense, I'll give the guy that. I don't think he really gives a shit at the end of it all. So that's about it. But what you wanted people to judge me on the fact that I had like 3 bad innings as a junior and it ruined my ERA for the year and impacted my ERA for my entire college career? Sure, that's fine. I don't care.
How about judging people solely off bad tweets?
Well, what do you mean by
defines who a person is?
No, but I think a tweet is much different than and it depends on how bad the tweet is. I mean, I think you can tell from somebody what they're like from one really bad tweet. If we're talking about
that's just interesting. I believe it's called trickle down economics. No, I don't think that's the term, but
no.
The ripple effects. I think the ripple effects of those conversation kind of goes outwards and spreads into a much larger conversation.
Yeah, it might. But again, the tweet, just real quick, the tweet is different. If it's a bad take, whatever. If it's something you shouldn't say, think or whatever necessarily, then that's different. But anyways, we're getting caught up on all that stuff. I see what you're trying to go for there. And like I said, I don't care, and Nick Cage doesn't care either. That's the one thing I'll give him in all this.
I don't think so. I don't think he cares as well. But into the final question, and I think this is getting to not the person that we see on screen, but maybe perhaps the man he is off the screen. How about that? So is he a captivating person off the screen? Nick, 1 minute, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So I honestly think when I see Nick Cage stuff, like off screen, like a trailer for a Nick Cage movie, I'm interested in seeing that. I'm not interested in watching his movie. I only watched it because we were doing this and I wanted to see how bad this was going to be. And oh my God, look, here's a little fun fact for you. Nick Cage, not the worst part of jiu-jitsu. That movie was so bad. Oh my God. I mean, it was like over halfway through the movie. I knew it was going to be bad, but halfway through the movie, I'm like, what am I watching? Anyways, I think, and this is part of what my argument with why Nick Cage is a bad actor. I just think he plays himself on screen, or at least in maybe a slightly exaggerated version of himself. I think he'd be good at podcasting or radio or something like that, because that's kind of what you do in that space. But when you're acting, you're not supposed to just be you, a different version of you. You're supposed to be portraying somebody else entirely. And he doesn't do that. We're watching Nick Cage every time we watch a movie. We're not watching Johnny Blaze or whatever 3, other character. It's the only name I can think of.
1.
Time.
Start the clock, Nick. Nick, I actually agree with you. He does play Nicolas Cage, but I think the difference between Nicolas Cage and Mark Wahlberg is that people are actually interested in who Nick Cage is. He has a personality. Mark Wahlberg is a robot who's milquetoast, who doesn't have, wakes up at 5 a.m. and plays 9 holes of golf in 90 minutes. Like, that's not real. Like, I don't know how that's possible. Like, Nick, people want to know what's going on in Nick Cage's life. And when I get to my actual report in a minute here, you will see why, because the guy's interesting. People want to know about him.
Okay. By the way, I just want everybody to know that I fully incepted Wes, because now he's bringing up Mark Wahlberg and his points. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so 1 minute, start the clock.
And go.
Like I mentioned, how can he not be a captivating person? The guy is a walking enigma. He exudes charisma. He has bought and sold a Bahamian island, a German medieval castle, a 24,000 square foot brick and stone manor in Rhode Island, Middletown, Rhode Island. Shout out Middletown. Another castle in England. Also, the most haunted house in America, which is located in the French Quarters in New Orleans. His financial advisor alleges that he would go on shopping sprees of buying 22 cars at a time, including 9 Rolls Royces, buying a Gulfstream jet, a flotilla of yachts. Like, who doesn't want to spend time with this person who has all this love for things, spending millions in arts and jewelry? He actually owned, Nick, this is up your alley, owned Action Comics #1 and sold it for a record-breaking $2.16 million. He also owned the skull of a Tabosaurus, which is a dinosaur that is 70 million years old. Later returned it to the Mongolian government once because it was stolen. 9-foot tall burial tomb, an octopus, shrunken pygmy heads, and he's a time traveler.
Of course, start the clock. So, of course, you got to slip in that he's a time traveler and all this, because that is totally up your alley. And I wouldn't necessarily rule that out. But look, when we're talking about Nick Cage, to me, yeah, the person interesting. Would I maybe want to get dinner with him and hear about some of the stuff that's gone on in his life? Sure, but I think most actors it would be interesting. With him, maybe he leans into it, but honestly, just spending time with Nick Cage would totally be worth the story. In hearing him talk about random stuff, sure. But when it comes to just him as an actor and why we know who he is, he's not good. So that's my end of my argument.
Strong words. Strong words. I think thus concludes, unless we have any closing arguments here. I think we kind of summed up everything. I like Nick Cage. You don't. And I think he's great. I love this little bit of renaissance that he's had with his life, where he's able to kind of poke fun at himself and make a little bit of money, because the guy, like, he's been screwed over a lot. Go check out his Wikipedia page. Like, the 5 wives thing, like, that's crazy. Imagine how much alimony that guy's paying.
That sucks. And I feel for him in that sense. Like, I don't wish illy on him. One thing that I did want to bring up, that in the course of searching for stuff for the show, Tim Weisberg had mentioned a while back, when he was our guy in the chair, of course, no longer doing all his stuff over at midnight.fm. He mentioned the documentary on what was it, the Death of Superman, right? Mm-hmm. We couldn't find that. It was supposed to be on Hulu, not there anymore, or whatever. I found it on YouTube, and it looks like it's Death of Superman Lives: What's Happened, F feature film. Like, it's so I think they did it so it's really hard to find. So if you guys look for that over on YouTube, you should be able to find it. Looks like it's an hour 45, hour 50-minute watch. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I think it's interesting. Look, there's definitely something interesting about Nick Cage, for sure. But just in general, why we know him, not because he's a good actor. So
you don't think this is good acting?
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it. You have to, or I'll fire you. Do you understand?
I don't understand.
I'm gonna have you fired.
No, bullshit, you will.
I don't give a shit. Bullshit. Holy shit. Bullshit.
No?
No.
You don't think that's good?
I was so disappointed with how he did, with the job he did on the swear word show, History of Swear Words, but whatever. This thing was.
I was a little drunk. Plus, I was horny.
The facial expressions of this guy, I mean, he is a great physical actor. I don't care if he chews up the scenery. I love it. I think, it turns to the point, like, almost how my love for Iron Man 3 or Spider-Man 3 or The Departed, where it runs the whole gamut of emotions with Nicolas Cage. I think that's very similar, where I loved it, I hated it, now I'm back to loving it again, because he's just embraced who he is, and I think you have to respect that.
Sure, Wes. Whatever you say. I have nothing else to add. I'll tell you what, I think about you a little differently now. Put it that way. How's that?
Well, that's one way. I didn't think your opinion on me could get any worse, but here we are. So the quarantine corner, Nick, which is where we are right now. What have you been doing? We're going to have to come up with a new name for this soon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I'm excited about that. So what we've been doing on my mind before that, but PCP kind of stole that from us, I guess.
They can have it.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure something else out. But I went hiking in the Blue Hills this weekend over in Canton with Lauren, and she'd never been there before. But it's the second time I've been there. The last time I went there, I got lost. That was not a fun experience. Much better this time around.
I'm trying to think. Well, was that where not Gone Baby Gone? Is that where the baby was, or is that from Mystic River with Sean Penn? Where he's like, "Is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter in there?"
That's a good question.
I think it might be Gone Baby Gone. I think that's where the baby went missing, is the Blue Hills Reservoir.
Oh, that's a good question. I've
never been there, though. It's nice.
I'll look it up when you tell me. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. And they have a path. They have a bunch of different paths that you can take.
Yeah.
There's one that's like a more challenging one, which is the one I'd gone on last time. We went on that one, and then we did it's a mile up to the top, then a mile back down. We did a mile and a half, and then we took the casual way for the last half mile. So it was really nice. I highly recommend for anybody who's looking for like a hiking or even just like an outdoor walk. Also, I watched Inside Out for the first time, and I feel like Mac and Goo did an episode on that a while back, and I thought I would never watch that movie. It really makes you, if you like self-reflection, this will really make you think, even though it's a kid's movie. And I think it's something that's worth anybody's time, honestly, especially if you like self-reflection.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to take you up on the Inside Out recommendation, but I think I will take you up on the Blue Hills. I think I'm definitely going to do that. That sounds awesome.
And that was that was Mystic River, right? That was
it was Mystic River or Gone Baby Gone. It was one of those Boston movies. I can't remember.
All right, I'm going to look that up while you tell me what's going on.
Well, yeah, like I said, I already kind of spoiled it. We watched
right.
Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, which I love that. You want to talk about like a good, gruesome, animated movie. I think that really kind of got me into that animated field, particularly with DC going Justice League Dark, and then there's a Constantine Spirit of Demons or something like that that's also on HBO Max. So there's a lot of good things there, and I give you credit on the Constantine guy. Constantine, he's an awesome character.
He's a badass. And by the way, I don't think it was Blue Hills for that Mystic River thing. It might have Mystic River Reservation. Maybe that would make more sense.
Yeah, like I said, it's either Mystic River or Gone Baby Gone. But Mystic River would make sense if it was Mystic River.
Yeah. Either way, it's more about the hiking area that you can go over in Blue Hills, over in Canton, right outside Boston. But John Constantine's City of Demons, the animated movie, is awesome. We did not do an episode on that because that came out way before. I think it came out before the show was Change My Mind was even a thing. Mm-hmm. And the comic book I talked about, that was the very first episode of TLDR. I talked about that when Doc talked about Daredevil. That is one of my absolute favorite books too. I recommend that to. There are certain books that I will recommend to everybody that's interested in comics. And John Constantine's City of Demons, the animated show is awesome. That series is awesome. He's an amazing character, total asshole, and I absolutely love him. Can't get enough of him. And I like I've said before, Keanu Reeves' interpretation, fine. I enjoy the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the animated version of him. That is much more in line with what we see in the comics. Way better there for sure.
All right, yeah, I agree. I like the cut of his jib. I'm a fan. I like what he's got. He's got good moxie.
Do you like how he smokes his cigarettes?
Absolutely, does a real good one. Yeah,
that's the most important. All right, Wes.
I think that's pretty important here.
I think it's time.
Shared universe.
All right, hashtag Dork is doing a 3+ hour episode on the best and worst 3+ hour movies this week. God bless him. That's real commitment. I don't know how David does that. That is a
big commitment. I don't know. Yeah, I would have vetoed that so hard.
Yeah, I don't know how Keith does that after doing a 4-hour show with Gresh all day. God bless him, man. He's
yeah, that's a good point. The marathon man.
Mac and Goo did are they replaying our episode of the Captain and Winter Soldier rewatch, Captain America and the Winter Soldier rewatch? I'm confused.
That's a good question. So, they're of course probably building off of Goo's own criticisms of TLDR and taking their own advice and striking while the iron's hot and going to be reviewing Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Which we had
we had Goo on already, so just listen to our episode instead if you want to. And
it was a good episode. I mean,
it was good stuff. I agree.
Yeah.
What's going on across the pond?
With the People for Communism podcast? Well, they are doing monarchy versus communism, why no one should be stunned by the royal family's corruption. Oh. I mean, I feel like it's a couple weeks late on their end. With what happened, speaking of Meghan Markle earlier, and of course the Northwestern alums that I'm proud to say that went to the same university as me. I don't know what led to this happening now. Is there anything?
You're a bootlicker? You're suddenly bowing to the crown? That's the Revolutionary War, man.
Meghan Markle has what was it? She's not part of the royal family anymore.
She's still married to the family, man. Don't believe that stuff. She's still getting all the money.
I don't know, Wes. I mean, she's giving him the bird. So I'm not going to get in. You're going to make me defend that.
Paid.
What?
So they're all still getting paid off that royal family.
If they are, then that's I think you're probably right, honestly.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? It's family.
Well, so then maybe it's going to be
around for hundreds of years.
Maybe it'll be a compelling listen from PCP this week. I don't know. It'll be a first. And then we have TLDR. Of course, we are talking comics like we do all the time. We're not burning books, so some may lead you to believe that. I'm open to talk about a book that Wes brought up on Caps Booze. Which, speaking of that, you guys have your third episode this week. You'll be talking about
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we may have a new name. I don't know. Shield Play, Red Wind's Revenge, Frenemies, Caps Booze.
See, this is like your forte. I don't understand why Goo wouldn't talk to you about this. Like the scorny lines, like you or wordplay in
We're both
general.
really good with wordplay. I'm surprised neither one of us could come up with that. You know, I know our guy Bryant is protesting the name Caps Booze there. So shout out to him and thanks for watching as well. So
Yeah.
and then so just to finish it up, I've heard it both ways. Season 2, episode 3 of Psych. We got the stream team, Shimers, Doc, Davey, right? Arvon D over there. But next week, Nick, I think we should return back. We got to start making some headway on this MCU vault before Wonder Woman, Black Widow comes back. And I know they got pushed back, so we got a little extra time here.
Yep.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man's next up. What do you say?
You're gonna. That's one of your all-time favorites. Your guy.
Hey, if it's not Nick Cage, it's Paul Rudd.
Oh my God! All right. Well, then until next week, Wes.
Well, you know who my other favorite guy is, right?
Oh my God. Big up the whole island massive. It's your boy Chatana, coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying? Me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
Big up